Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Washington in a last-ditch effort to negotiate a better trade deal days after the US imposed 17% tariffs on Israel. Netanyahu is the first foreign leader to travel to Washington in an attempt to negotiate trade pact with the PM meeting top US officials in Washington. This is the second meeting between the two leaders since Trump returned to the White House in January and comes after the resumption of hostilities in the Gaza Strip. Trump has pressed Tehran for a new deal on its nuclear program, though little progress has been made, with widespread speculation that Tel Aviv, possibly with US help, might launch a military strike on Iranian facilities if no agreement is reached. I'm joined at this hour by Brahma Chellaney, strategic affairs expert, and Dr. Khinvraj Jangid, visiting faculty at Ben Gurion University in Israel, the director of Center for Israel Studies at the OP Jindal University. To Mr. Chellaney, Netanyahu's second trip since Trump was inaugurated in January comes after the resumption of hostilities in Gaza Strip. What will be topmost on agenda, tariff or hostilities, when the two men meet?
The two will be discussing several issues: the tariff issue, the war in Gaza, Israel-Turkey relations, Iran, and the International Criminal Court. Trump's sweeping tariffs have not spared even Israel, even though Trump has been quite pro-Israel. He has been pro-Israel since his first term. In his first term, Trump moved the US Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He also supported Israeli territorial claims on the West Bank. And in his second term, he has actually pushed this proposal to permanently resettle the entire Gazan population in other countries and bring Gaza under US control. This is something that the Israeli government seems to be implementing to some extent by renewing this military offensive. As it is, Gaza has been devastated, but this renewed Israeli military offensive makes things worse. So there are a lot of issues that the two leaders will be discussing, but certainly, as you point out, the fact that the two leaders are meeting for the second time in 2.5 months underscores the close bonds between these two leaders.
Dr. Jangid, on tariffs, how successful do you think Netanyahu will be in negotiating the tariff deal, and how do you foresee that impact US-Israel relations?
Thank you. I don't think Netanyahu got much to actually leverage things for the tariff concessions. The announcement of Netanyahu's visit to America was through Donald Trump. There wasn't a news about it in Israel. Israeli Prime Minister's office didn't say anything. He was just supposed to go to Hungary in a trip that he, hardly sold to his own domestic constituency. But nevertheless, he went there because Hungary hosted him by withdrawing from the international warrant against him. So he wanted to score a diplomatic small victory by saying, look, I can travel to different parts of the world and the warrant against him doesn't hold much deterrence. So I think he was on this symbolic ride, and then the tariffs were announced and he was in America. So I don't think he can really get any concession from 17% that the Israeli state has come under. In Israel, for the last 3 days, there has been a panic in the industry and trade and manufacturing. And there is an estimate that more than 40,000 people, according to the estimate of the Association of the Manufacturing Sector in Israel, will lose jobs. And they really don't have any way to see a bright outcome when it comes to tariff. But as Brahma Chellaney hinted, for Netanyahu, far more pressing issues are the issues of war in Gaza, hostages, and the Iranian issue. You suggested that Israel might be the one that will carry a strike against Iran. It seems to be the part of the Trump's strategy against Iran. Remember, he invited Iran through a very aggressive letter to negotiate. And Iran was very confident to say, we don't want to negotiate with you for anything. So I think in that in a very abrasive denial of any negotiations with him by Iranian leaders, Trump is leveraging military deployment in the Pacific, as well as he's letting Israel make those moves, thinking that, listen, if you don't negotiate with me, I can let Israel carry a strike. That in any case, Israeli leaders really look for an excuse to do it.
Right.
I think it's tariff will not be the top of the agenda. Maybe it's the news of the moment, but Netanyahu's visit has to do with ongoing war in Gaza and the Iranian issue.
Let's stay on that, Mr. Chellaney. Iran and Israel tension is also on the rise. Reports are that US has transferred a second THAAD battery and 2 Patriot batteries to Israel amid rising tensions. How do you see this situation now?
Israel enjoys a regional preeminence, militarily, diplomatically, economically. It's a small country, but it's dominant militarily. It doesn't have any real state adversary. Its adversaries today are non-state actors like Hamas and Hezbollah. But Iran was located further from Israel. Israel and Iran don't share borders. Israel looks at Iran as a adversary down the line. Iran is a powerful country. It's a major regional power. And it won't be easy for Israel or even the US to take on Iran or to launch strikes against Iran and not expect Iran to retaliate. One has to remember what happened to the US invasion of Iraq. Iran is much stronger than Iraq was at that time. In fact, in the Islamic world of the countries located around Israel, Iran is the most powerful of the states. And therefore, both Washington and the Bibi administration will have to tread very cautiously. They can make all these threats. They can carry out cyber attacks. They can do other things. But any kind of direct military intervention will result in a war that neither Israel nor the US would like.
Right, particularly since Donald Trump has also been advocating to stop wars at this point in time. Dr. Jangid, let me go back to the issue of tariffs. What do you think will the impact be on the US-Israel free trade agreement?
Israel Free Trade Agreement is unique in a way because in 1985, when America signed it, it was exceptionally with very small Middle Eastern country, and then US did it with other countries. The America's greater military and strategic relationship with America with Israel is, I don't know if you lost me in between. So in terms of commodities, Israel and America share much greater defense and military intelligence business in the realm of defense and warfare. And I think that relationship is as dear to America as it is to the Israelis. So yes, when it comes to very strategic military business and arms supply that Israel buys from America, Israelis develop the technology, but even a small gun is then produced in America by American companies, and then Israel buys from America. During this 1.5 year war, when Joe Biden put a stop on some ammunitions, Israelis actually made a more self-reflective note about themselves that maybe this is the time we don't rely on America to manufacture arms for us. So I think there is a greater realization within the Israeli defense establishment that maybe it is not so much in the self-interest to just sell every technology to American companies and then buy from the American companies. So maybe that relationship will come to some kind of a rescue. But when it comes to the general tariff, I think Israel will live with the 17% reality.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jangid and Mr. Brahma Chellaney, for joining me on with this discussion at this hour.